Action.
Hi everybody, how are you today? I wanted to teach you something that I learned. I used to work in a wilderness therapy program. It was back in 2000. So there's something I learned there for survival and just for a basic life skill that I want to teach you all. And that's how to make a fire with items you find out in the wilderness. So I've got all my equipment over here. I'll move over here and I'll show you. So there's some basic equipment you need when making a fire. This fire is going to be a Bojo fire. There's a lot of different kinds you can do, but that's the one I'll do today. You'll need a trusty branch like this. I got this off a juniper tree. It's kind of nice if the wood is a little bit green because it has a more bend to it. I've had this ever since I worked out at that wilderness program, so it's pretty stiff, and which is not ideal, but it works. You'll need some kind of string. If you're in a situation where you are lost in the wilderness or whatever, you can get away with using your shoelace. So don't wear shoes with Velcro if you plan on getting lost somewhere. Or slip-ons. Another thing you'll need is, there's basically three main components to a fire kit. You got your bow, you got your fireboard, and your spindle, okay? This fireboard, I believe, is made out of I think this one is either cottonwood or sagebrush, and this spindle is made out of sagebrush. And I like to get the ones that were about the thickness of your pointer finger, no smaller than your pinky though, because they bend and it makes it difficult to do the process. Oh, you also need a palm rock. You can use a lot of different things. You could use a soda can, a crushed soda can. There's a lot of different things you could use, but I use a palm rock because it's the easiest to get some downward pressure. And you need something with a little groove in it to hold the spindle. Okay? Another thing you want is some dry material. Our cat wants in on the action. Some dry material. This right here is juniper bark that I just stripped off the tree. And so this will be to make the nest. You can use, any dry material that you can come across, but this has always been my favorite to use. You could even just take, like something like this that you find, and you just want to break it up so it's as fibrous as you can get it, okay? So what I would do to make a nest, I'll show you this all start from finish. I would just kind of, make a circle here, a nest. So you've got a little hole in here. Now this is pretty coarse material, so you're going to want to take another portion of your bark, and like I kind of did with that weed right there, go like this and loosen it up. You see how it's getting finer right there? Okay, loosen it up, and you can also do this right over your nest, your little nest hole, so it catches what you're doing. So take this finer material here, put it in there. Now you don't want it incredibly tight in there because you still need airflow coming through the bottom when you get your fire ready to go. So you can never over prepare on making a fire. So let me just get this all really broken up here and put in, okay? So that's good for a nest. You can see I've got my coarse material, there's kind of medium material, and then finer material right there. And that's where I'm gonna wanna put my little coal when it's ready. So we'll set that aside. Now when you're making your fireboard, you can see I've got some spaces here already. Can you see that okay? How there's some spaces here that I've already worked on. I don't know if you guys have seen Castaway, but on that, when he is finally able to make a fire, it's because he had air get to his friction. You always have to have a notch in your fireboard so the air can come through and start your fire, or help fuel your fire with the air. So I'm going to just show you this from the start. I'm just going to make a notch in this board. Just cut it in here. You don't want it in too terribly far, but just far enough so that when you do get your spindle spinning, the air will reach that hole that you're creating with your spindle, okay? And then I also like to make just a little divot in there so that my spindle has somewhere to sit. So I'm just gonna make a little hole like that. See that okay? Okay, that's how you want to start your fireboard hole, all right? Now, I also like to have something beneath my fireboard to be catching my tinder that's going to be created when I start spinning all this. You can use you know, a leaf, kind of a wetter leaf, so it doesn't catch fire. But I just have this piece of cardboard, so I'm going to use that today. So we got our fireboard, we got our spindle, we got our bow, and we got our palm rock. And this was just a rock I found that I took another rock and twisted it in there to make this hole. So what you want to do is set your paper or your or your wet leaf or whatever you're going to use to catch your tinder under there. Put that fireboard right under the arch of your foot. And then you will take your spindle, and you've got to wrap your bowstring around it. This is where having a flexible stick comes in handy. So you gotta get that in there. You can see how it's wrapped around there, okay? So, on another thing, you'll want your spindle to be fairly sharp. If you don't have a knife for some reason, you could sharpen your spindle on, you know, a rock. Like I use a cement a lot to sharpen my spindle, because you do want it kind of pointy to begin with. It makes it a little bit easier when you're starting straight off with a brand new hole. And this spindle is about too short, so I will have to retire this one soon. Alright, so I got my spindle sharpened. Alright, now lean your way over your thigh. Look out, kitties. Put your spindle right in that hole you've created. And you put your palm rock hole right on top of your spindle. And then you slowly start going back and forth with your bow. Now I've done this a lot of times, and it does take some practice to get that spindle to not flip out, because it'll happen, it'll hit you on your knuckles. There is a learning curve for sure. So you just want to start out slow with your bow. And you'll see soon that smoke will start. You just get in there on that spindle smoke zone. You don't have to go terribly fast, you just want to stay steady and consistent with it. Now I'm not expecting a fire to start here. What I'm trying to get here is a coal to build up to make my fire. And you can see that tinder falling down onto my paper. That's why I wanted that there. And I just keep going until I see that there's smoke going other than right in that hole. So down in that tinder pile. Okay, now it's smoking pretty good, so I'm just going to look and see if I have a coal. And you can see there that I do. It's still smoking down in that tinder pile. At this point, you don't have to hurry it, okay? You can let this coal build. Put that tinder on there. And if you have a slight breeze going on that day, that's helpful. You can see we do have a little wind, so it's just making this tinder pile, you know, the coal grow. So don't rush this part, because you want that coal as big as you can get it before you're putting it in your nest here. Create a little divot in there in my nest. This way you can catch your breath, because it can be a little tiring. The very first time I did this, I remember I got a coal and I was so excited. So excited. And so I hurried and took that coal right as soon as my spindle and everything came off the board, and I threw it in the nest, and it didn't have time to grow. So I lost that coal. I wasn't able to make a fire from it. So that's why you just let this build up. You can see it's getting bigger there. Okay, that seems pretty sufficient. So now what I'm going to do is just take this and very gently, because I mean that's pretty small coal there. You want to tap it into your nest, okay? And then you just kind of, just really gently pinch that material all around it, and you blow on it. And if you have a windy day, put the wind to your back so you're not getting all that smoke in your face, and the wind can also take the place of you blowing on it. See, there you go. You got fire. Now, of course, you're going to want to have some kindling and some sticks nearby to, you know, build up your fire. but you've got all this material right around here that's going to burn and help you with just that really small kindling. So if I was, building real fire for a campfire or whatever, I'd make sure I have some, some really small sticks, bigger sticks, and then the logs that I want to burn. So there you can see. So you make fire with some sticks and some little bit of effort. And that's it. Thanks for watching.